Hello, friends. Hey, we're so glad that you have chose to be with us today here at Dallas Metro Podcast. It's going to be a great day. In the studios today, we have Morgan Brown. Aren't you so glad I got the last name right?
I know, yeah.
Since I've known you as Robertson, like
a long time.
Your entire life, you know? So tell us about your family.
My family?
Yeah.
They are awesome.
Yep.
My mom is Melinda Robertson. She's on staff. My aunt, Chrissy Robertson, is also on staff at Dallas Metro. So when I was on staff, I loved like being with them and working with them. It was incredible. They're great people.
And you're married now?
I am. I'm married now to my incredible husband. So yeah.
Dustin.
Dustin.
Hey, Dustin, shout out to your brother. I know you're watching this today. Yes, she is beautiful. And as I would say this publicly, you better take care of her, okay? So
He does.
As he should.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So you've been with Dallas Metro like most of your life.
Yeah. I think I was 6 years old when my mom first started volunteering. So it's been 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
6.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
For some reason, my brain will not go, okay, 6 years old. All right.
Yeah.
So you grew up in a single-parent family, right?
I did, yeah.
So what was that like growing up without a father?
For most of, like, when I was little, it was kind of just normal. Like, I thought, like, this is what all families are like, right? Like, this is, you have your mom and you have your grandparents. Like, this is it. But when I got older is when it got to be a little more difficult. When I started noticing, like, wait, like, dads are supposed to be, like, a part of the family, And so that was difficult to understand and really comprehend. But I think what did help me so much is that I did have like my mom and my grandmother and my grandfather and my aunt, honestly, that really supported me and helped me and loved me. And so I had a very loving home, but it still had a big impact on me. Like that absence, it affected me.
So you say you felt like there was a void in your life?
Definitely, yeah.
And then your mom starts volunteering at Metro, and their families, most of them are not, in many ways, in some ways different, but in many ways the same.
Yeah.
A lot of single moms. So you volunteered here for, I don't know, for a long time. Yeah. You're just like, we had a guest on a few weeks ago, and he brought his youth group several years. And he said his kids still knock on the doors and say those two famous words.
Dallas Metro.
Yeah. And then you went to you graduated from high school in Texarkana, right?
Yep.
And then you went to college,
I
and you and your mom moved back here to Dallas. Once you started at college, did you already know at that time what you were going to do, or what was that journey like?
Oh yeah, I knew exactly what I was going to do. I actually decided my career in high school. I knew I wanted to go into in the psychology field. And so going into college, I was really excited about it. And yeah.
So why psychology?
So I feel like, everybody's answer to why psychology is interesting is that that say I've always been fascinated by how the mind works, but it really is
until you meet people like me and you're going, does that mind even does that even work over there? Sometimes.
Yeah, but it really was. I remember watching Criminal Minds and just being fascinated.
Oh yeah. What was that guy that was so smart on that? I don't remember his name.
Spencer Reed.
Spencer Reed.
Yeah.
That boy was on a different planet, man.
I know, and I loved loved it. I loved it. And so that, like when I was younger, it was like, I'm going to be in the BAU. But, as I got older, it was like, maybe a therapist is fine. Like, so, yes, that's where that all started.
So you went to, while you were going to college, you were part-time at Metro, and then somehow juggled as you're getting your master's. You were working full-time and going to school full-time. And we were actually talking before you started, did some really creative things, skits and videos, writing curriculum, drawing curriculum.
Yeah.
You had all that creative stuff going. But today you are a licensed counselor, practices in Mansfield. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and your target audience is?
I actually work mostly with kids. Shocker. But I work with a lot of kids, a lot of them with ADHD, a lot of just hyperactivity. I know.
I'm a candidate.
Yes. But I also, I work with adults and veterans.
I'm not a candidate.
I work with kind of just a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Why did you decide to work with children?
I've always had just a heart for kids, and I think we underestimate just how much kids go through and just how much they feel and how much they experience and what they notice. And so I think just being able to be a support for a child and just showing them that, hey, I understand. It's okay to feel things, and, just being that support and that cheerleader for them. Just, it's always been my passion.
As one of the challenges with growing up in a single-parent home is we thrust adult decisions on children. We actually ask them to do things and make decisions that even we as adults don't want to make.
Yeah.
We give them responsibilities it's not that we don't need to be teaching our children to be responsible.
Right.
It's not that we don't need to be teaching them. They need to have chores that they do. They may not live on a farm, but they need chores. And they need responsibilities. They need to understand that the ride's not free.
Yeah.
Life costs. And they need to be a part of that. But we don't need to be thrusting on them things that we should be taking care of as adults. It's kind of like sending a child home and they've got so much homework it takes them all night.
Yeah.
To get that homework done, and then tomorrow they get to do the same thing at school. I'm kind of going, so when do they get to be a child? Now, I'm not talking about sitting in front of a computer and playing video games for 50 hours a week or whatever. But if they're spending all their time being an adult as a child, somewhere they're not tapping the brakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if you have had a child that has had to deal with some sort of abuse, and then you carry that into adulthood, when they get to an adult, are they an adult?
Dysfunctional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or are they a hurting child? It's not apples and apples, but I'm reminded of. I am a part of the Vietnam group. I grew up during that time, and I saw a lot of guys that went over, and when they came back, they were trying to recapture what life was when they went over there. Well, America changed. And they also came back to a group of people that were not grateful. Shame on us. for the sacrifice that they made over there. And because, today, at least there's some support for veterans. I'm not saying they have what's adequate, but there's some support. Mm-hmm. Well, back then, nobody even heard of PTSD, right? So no one dealt with it. Mm-hmm. I think that because in society, so many of our families require so much of their children that even as they get into those teen years, you see them making some really stupid decisions. And sometimes they seem like such a small decision.
Yeah.
But it has lifelong consequences. Mm-hmm. So if I was to bring little Clay to you today, and I would say, do something with him, what would you tell me?
Well.
Now, be careful now. These people, they don't know all my baggage, okay? So.
All right.
Go ahead. At this age, it doesn't matter. Trust me.
Yeah. No, I think, if you're, talking about just the hyperactivity.
Oh, you know me well. Yeah, let's talk about that. Yes.
Yeah. What
are you sleeping for? Get up. Let's go.
Yeah, managing that and, helping. I think because what I've noticed, a lot of kids, they don't realize that, what they deal with is, other people deal with it too.
Oh, absolutely.
I think a lot of times we sometimes, maybe not intentionally, but we make kids feel like, they're bad because they don't fit into the cookie cutter mold.
Yes.
And so, I think the most beneficial thing is just hey, it's okay. We can manage this stuff. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with you. And I think that's my first thing is building confidence and just letting little Clay know that there's nothing wrong with you,
Oh, glory. I'm just going to keep doing this, okay?
Yes. But
catch me if you can.
Yeah, and just how to manage it in a healthy way, but that,
right.
nothing's wrong per se.
One of the things that I've witnessed way too many times, say he's a bad kid.
Yeah.
He's a bad kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bad kid. And my response to him is no. Now, they're not a bad kid.
No.
Now, have they made some bad choices? Yes, they have. They've made some bad choices, but they're not a bad kid. Because if you think, because of your environment, that you're a bad kid, you know what you will be? A bad kid.
Bad kid. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the statements that makes me the most angry.
Me too.
Is
don't be putting labels on people.
No.
And we have gotten terrible at that here in our country. We want to put a label on everybody for whatever. And I'm always saying, you might be a little slow on putting that label on them.
Yeah.
I mean, they may have some of the characteristics of whatever, It doesn't mean that that's who they are.
Yeah.
It's like, we have dyslexia runs in our family. Mm-hmm. So you think that you're dumb.
Yeah.
Because you can't read. Mm-hmm. No, you just don't see things like everybody else does. And once you have gone to proper counseling, proper training, your reading will be different, but you can read. Mm-hmm. The same with ADHD. On and on and on. They're all things that, and obviously there are, there's a medical component to that might be required.
Yeah.
If that's what it takes, then so be it.
Yeah.
So I've always been proud of you.
Oh.
I have I have a real heart for particularly for single parent children. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like
Yeah.
for not to have maybe the ideal parent situation that you would like to have.
Mm-hmm.
And so the result of that is I always look for those kids. I always have.
Yeah.
I look for the kids that everybody else has written off.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's labeled them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Your daddy was nothing and you're going to be nothing, just like them. Well, when you start prophesying over people that, well, it's going to come to pass. And so that's why it wouldn't matter what you're doing. I would be proud of you. But it's very honorable that you have chosen to invest your lives in other people that it'd be easy to say they're hurting people. Let's just say they're trying to figure life out.
Yeah.
And they need somebody to help them, let them know that no, you're not as strange as what everybody thinks you are.
Yeah.
And your normal may look a little different
Uh-huh.
than everybody else. That doesn't mean it's not normal. Besides that, normal's probably overrated anyway.
Yeah.
Normal can be kind of boring, right?
Yes. Definitely.
Each week, we offer a nugget, something people can take home with them. And the verse I picked out for us today is Psalms chapter 37, verse 30. It says, "The godly offer good counsel." The godly offer good counsel. That's you, Morgan. They teach right from wrong. I think it's for you, it's more than just what's teaching right from wrong. It's helping kids realize that they can function at a high level.
Yeah.
Whether they've been abused. There's definitely a process for every person
Yeah.
to work through. And if they're willing to do that, if they're willing to put in the work, there's a lot of things that I make assumptions on. One of the things is, unfortunately, I assume a lot of things. I assume that people are saved. Maybe.
Yeah.
I assume they're praying too. Maybe, But assuming that someone has given their heart to Christ, because that's the first step for anybody at any portion of life. If you haven't accepted Christ, life's going to be tough. And then secondly, you have to be spending time in His Word, letting the Lord speak to you. But even when you get those two down, sometimes life has been challenging.
Yeah.
And you need somebody to help you walk through this journey. And like I said, tell them that they are normal. If they want to be normal, or if you're like me, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't look at you. I don't see somebody that's normal. Come on now.
Yeah, and just the beauty in our differences and in our uniqueness. And I think that's one of the biggest blessings in my life is, coming from a single parent household.
Yeah.
And being able to share just my experiences and being like, hey, I get it. Yeah. Hearing kids make the jokes about, I've been waiting 5 years for my dad to, come back with the milk and stuff, and being able to sit there and be like, yeah, me too, and being able to just have those moments with them and just share with them and just being able to just say, yeah, I get it. Me too.
It does put a different perspective on when you can say, been there, done that.
Yeah. It really
Actually
does.
been there, done that, and still living that today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to show them that, like you were saying, they can still live, no matter what they've been through. If it's been, if they dealt with abuse or, just other environmental factors, anything, they can still flourish and live an amazing life.
Yeah.
And do so many wonderful things
Right.
with God on their side. So
I like that word, flourish, not survive.
Mm-hmm.
Survival is not a good way to live life.
Oh, no.
That's, I don't believe that's the Lord's plan for anybody, anywhere.
Mm-mm.
He desires for His people to to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And you are putting people in a position to thrive. I'm grateful for that. Thank you. You know of our dream to build long-term facilities.
Uh-huh.
Now, we should have talked a little bit about. You're still volunteering at Metro.
Oh, yeah.
You and your husband. Which side are you guys at? Which Sunday school side are you and your husband at?
We go on Saturdays out to Good Haven.
Didn't I see you at one of the sidewalk sites like Thanksgiving week, right?
I was, yeah. I took the day off work
Oh,
so
sweet.
I could go. And
Yeah.
actually, I'm going out today, too, and tomorrow.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's cool. Well, and then, of course, on Sundays, you are the preschool coordinator
Yeah.
for the church that we've planted. And so you have all this fun on Sunday of getting to set it. We actually get to set up the room.
Oh, yes. Fun stuff.
And then have the program.
Uh-huh.
And then we get to take it down.
Down,
Yeah,
yes.
and store it away. Of course, the same thing happens on Saturday.
Same
For
thing.
the bus ministry, we get to set everything up and then
tear it down.
take it back down, and put it back up. So now we are grateful. The Lighthouse is allowing us to use their facilities there,
yeah.
so we are very, very grateful for that. But the Lord has raised up a generation, a new generation, and we need to put them in a position to win. And one of the ways we can do that is by building these facilities and doing it absolutely debt-free.
Yes, sir.
So we've been talking to people about this on the podcast for quite some time. What would you say to them, Tim? Why should they partner with us and believe us for this miracle?
Oh, my goodness. I mean, just the necessity of Dallas Metro, like existing, because of the effect that Dallas Metro has had on, generations of kids, adults, families. And then having a permanent facility and what that would mean for what we could do as a ministry, and just how much more we could do for our families and for our kids, and just, also less work.
Wouldn't it be nice?
On the weekends would be nice.
That
just,
would,
a little. This is some positives there, but definitely that partnership and just having the opportunity to be a part of what God is doing in Dallas right now, is incredible and would be incredible.
That was very well said, and exactly my thinking as far as people have the misconception that Barbara and I, this was our lifelong dream, was to minister in the inner city of Dallas. No, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
But it's what the Lord wanted for us to begin. And, He's allowed us to reach more lives than we ever dreamed possible.
Yeah.
And it would be very, very simple if we were just doing events. If you're just doing events, events take a lot of work, but when the event's done, you're done, somebody's going to live in the inner city.
Yeah.
They just are. And the Bible even says, the poor you will have with you always. So somebody's going to live there. So why can't we raise up whole families to live there and to equip them?
Yeah.
And this new center will allow us to create that family atmosphere. That's the thing I love that Tim and Karina are really leading for us on Sundays. When you come to church on Sundays, it feels like family.
It does, yeah.
I don't know about you, but I want my family to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And I want our families that we minister to, either through the sidewalk programs or through the bus ministry, I want them to be that. Some things are taught, most things are caught.
Yeah.
And by us having a home, that it's theirs.
Yeah.
It's their church. And I'm grateful that the Lighthouse is allowing us right now to rent their facilities, but it's not ours.
Yeah.
It's the Lighthouse. This gives our families, this is their church. This is their home. And what you have invested in us your entire life is helping that dream possible. And then if we have people that have preschoolers, they're getting blessed.
We have fun
every Sunday morning learning about the Lord.
Yeah.
Morgan, I'm so glad that you came by today.
I love that you had me.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're such a blessing. Grateful, very grateful. Hey, you've heard from someone that's been a part of Metro for the last 20 years. Both as a volunteer, while she was getting her master's degree, she was on staff. She's done some of the stories. If you followed our stuff on Facebook, some of the stories, she wrote those stories and also drew those stories. Yes, she's very, very talented, okay? A lot of video stuff that we have done, she actually helped write and produce that stuff. So, God is raising up a new generation of leaders. And you can help us today put them in a position to win, to get a tool that we need. It's going to be a blessing not just to our staff, it's going to be a blessing to our city, to the families that we reach out to every single week. So would you go to our webpage, dallasmetro.org. Click on All In. That's what the campaign is. And then click on What is All In. And when you get there, you're going to see these beautiful pictures that Michael Cathcart has drawn for us. And then would you prayerfully consider making a donation? Or what would really help us in 2024, would you consider making a monthly commitment and believe with us for this incredible miracle? God's going to help us build these facilities absolutely debt-free. Hey, I'm believing you're going to help us today, friends. God bless you. So glad you chose to see us.